Hello from the Big South Network studio. I'm Mark Bryant with another installment of our baseball preview series for the 2025 season. Very happy now to turn to High Point head coach Joey Hammond. Coach, thank you for being here.
Appreciate having us.
Well, before we move forward, let's look back because it's a good thing to look back to, right? A quick recap of last year's experience, if you can, winning the Big South title, playing in the NCAA Regional, and toppling Vanderbilt, getting that big win.
Yeah, a lot of highlights, a lot of good things to kind of to talk and great learning opportunities to experience. It was a unique group. They were really particular about the things they wanted to accomplish, and I was happy to be along for the ride with that. And so to accomplish something that never happened in school history before was special and was unique, and I'm happy to have that kind of legacy written for those guys. They deserve it. They work really hard, and then of course, to get on a stage like that in a regional and compete in every game. Felt like we could have won and should have won some of those, so I'm a little sour about that still, and I'm sure they are as well. But a marquee win for sure, and did a lot for our program and our school.
Well, 2025 is going to start 0-0, but as you prepare for this year after a season like that, what carries over, if anything, and how do you use that as a step?
Sure. I think the first thing you mentioned is just acknowledging and recognizing that this team hasn't accomplished anything yet. And so I think assuming that just because we won last year is that it's going to carry over, I think is a huge mistake. And so our guys recognize this from the beginning. We talk about the values that are going to carry over, and we talk about it ad nauseum last year about being rooted in our work and guided by our faith, and we live by that day in and day out. And so the players, part of that is my responsibility to make sure that we vet the right player and get a player that understands that. And then we come in and it's about work. And the truth is they haven't accomplished anything. And so we're excited about it, but we won't know until we face some adversity. That's when we'll figure out kind of what this team's capable of.
Among the assets last year, tremendous power on the team. What's the strength for this year's squad? Is it more of the same? And who are the key returners who may be behind that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, look, I think we're still going to be able to impact the ball. I don't know if we'll hit as many maybe homers per se, but I do think that our lineup is going to be deep. A lot of new faces as well. Some returning players, obviously Connie Derschlag and Braden Simpson provide us with a lot of thump and some versatility with a lot of extra base hits. Miggy Etchezarreta can be a threat on the bases and on the bases all the time. And so I think those guys combined with a lot of our new faces offensively are going to give us a really potent offense. The thing I'm really excited about, honestly, that is a huge addition, I think, is just the depth on the mound. I think, particularly in the bullpen, I think that was an area that we were able to get by last year with some key pieces, and I felt like that was an area that needed to be revamped, and we've certainly been able to do that with a long list of proven players from various different levels that have a ton of college, experience, and so I think it's going to give us a lot of options that are going to help us for sure.
Well, let's talk about those options. Let's drill down on the mound a little bit. Who's contending for spots in the rotation, and where are the bulk of the innings coming from?
Yeah, well, my hope is the bulk of the innings come from the rotation. We had a blueprint last year where our three starters threw a lion's share of the innings. Now, part of that was out of necessity, because as I mentioned about the bullpen, but the other part was because they were really good. And so we expect the same thing out of this. And so from a returning standpoint, I think, Dalton Olsowski as a freshman last year pitched a lot, and kind of the Swiss Army knife, a lot of different roles. He'll get an opportunity to pitch out on the weekend, I'm sure, this year. His development's been great. And then a lot of new pieces. We have a transfer from Wingate, Dylan Story, pro arm, big electric arm, frontline stuff for sure, and so we're excited about him. And then again, a mix of some other guys. A Division III Cord Butler, he's 12-0 last year at D3, so he's got some experience, and some freshman arms, Wade Walt, Mateo Wells, and that we feel like have huge, bright futures. And again, I think at the end of the day, we have so many options. I think we're going to be surprised by it. So I'll hold out on some of that a little bit, because it still remains to be seen. But we certainly have more options than we ever have.
Everybody knows what the week-to-week in the Big South is going to be like. It's always tough. But what have you got in out-of-conference play that folks have to look forward to?
Yeah, well, I think the usual. We play Wake Forest at 2 neutral sites this year. It's a really good program. Some more Power 4 schools. We have a weekend series at Minnesota in the Dome, which is going to be really a unique experience for our guys. Midweek game against Georgia, and so those are some of the Power 4s. But I'm excited about some of these high mid-major weekend series we have. So we play Wofford in a weekend series. We're at Mercer, but make no mistake, the most important non-conference we have is the next game, and so we play NJIT as an opener. And so all of those things are wonderful, but the most important one is the next one.
Well, Coach, we wish you luck in the next one and the next one after that, and all the Panthers the best of luck this season. And we thank you for watching another installment of our preview series for Baseball 2025.